welcome back to History of the Batman, where we relive the defining moments of one of the most iconic figures in comic book art and literature, the Batman. Today, I am joined with co-host of DC All Access. He's part of Screen Junkies Collider, and we are going to talk about his comic book series, Jupiter Jet. I am here with Jason Inman.
Hello.
Hi. So thank you so much for coming on with
Bat,
us.
thank you for having me.
Yes, and we actually just recorded a whole podcast. It'll be linked below so you can listen to the whole show. So first, if you want to tell us a little bit about your nerdy background, because this isn't the first time you've been dealing with comics. You have been a comic book fan your whole life.
Yeah,
so
my whole life.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about it, like where you're from. First of all, you're not from LA, where we're filming this.
I am from basically Smallville, Kansas. I grew up on a farm in Kansas, small town called Stark, Kansas. I just say Smallville. I may or may not have come from an alien world. I'll leave that to you and the historians to decide. But yeah, I bought a lot of comic books when I was a kid. Kyle Rayner, Batman, Death of Superman got me in a lot of runs. And it was like this whole collection from there of me loving comics. Nightfall is a big thing. Like,
yes.
I
do too.
Azrael Batman. That costume's so stupid. I love it. I don't care. I think it's so awesome. I just like, I fell in love with the stories. I fell in love with the world because I remember when I bought Death of Superman, the thing that blew my mind was seeing all the heroes at Superman's funeral. And I was like, wait a minute. Green Lantern and Hawkman and all those guys are in Superman's world? Like, that's exactly what it was. And so I wanted to figure out, there was like, when you bought the Death of Superman, they had this giant poster that had like all the heroes carrying his coffin.
Yes.
And I really wanted to figure out who all the other heroes in that picture were. So.
Right. So you dived more into the world.
I dove deep. I went to like pawn shops and garage sales and county fairs and bought like whatever. If it was a comic book, I bought it. I literally did. So
that's awesome. And it's funny that you say Nightfall because that's what started me with Batman comics.
Oh yeah,
that was my first series, comic book series that I actually read. So, and that's one of the reasons why I actually love Bane. He is actually my favorite.
Love Bane.
You are like the first person to come on the show that has not laughed at me.
Nope, I love Bane.
When I said the Bane is my favorite, so I need
when Bane shows up.
Oh my god!
Well, there's a problem though. See, because Bane has been written not like Bane for 20 years.
Yes,
and that's why I was so excited for the new DC Rebirth because he finally started acting like he did back in Nightfall. Because in Nightfall, he's this super smart dude who's just as smart as Batman, who figures out who Batman is. But everybody since then has written Bane as just like, I'm a guy who punches you in the face.
Right.
But no, Bane's a genius.
That balance of like his genius.
Bane's evil Batman.
Exactly.
He is evil Batman.
You have no idea how happy I am. I had no because every time I'm like, oh, Bane is my favorite Batman. People are like, Bane. I've
gotten to read some I Am Bane stuff. The new storyline's coming up early. You're gonna love it.
Oh, You're gonna love it. So excited. This is amazing. I'm so excited. So you are co-host of DC All Access, and you've also done Screen Junkies and other things. So can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of got into that world?
It was a little bit of just me making my own content. I would make my own videos on my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jawin. There were comic book videos. And a big one very early on that you guys might realize is I made... can I curse on here? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Go for it. You remember the shit people say meme that was going around?
Yeah.
I made shit comic book nerds say. You go back and find that video. It was me. And that was my first viral video.
Nice.
Yeah. And I literally I could tell the meme was going away. And I was like, I'm going to do the comic book nerd one. And I got featured everywhere and stuff like that. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. That's awesome.
So I did that, and then like that spurred me into other jobs. I worked for Red and Link, I worked for Screen Junkies, I've done stuff for Collider, and just a little bit of like, if you produce your own content and it's good, people will notice it,
Very nice. Cool. So we talked a little bit about this on the podcast, but you are a fan of Batman, and actually your favorite comic book character is Nightwing.
Nightwing, yes.
So tell us why he's your favorite.
It's because Nightwing is Batman's greatest success. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, he took this hurt little kid and he created the next leader of the Justice League. And Nightwing has actually led the Justice League in continuity, which I think is great. Because the perfect example I like to say is that Batman and Superman, right, have always in the comic books sort of had a tenuous relationship, except in the Golden Age where they were just best buds because they slept in the same cabin on a cruise ship. Go read that comic book. I am not making that up. They had to sleep in the same bed.
No, we actually talked about that issue when we did our Batman and Superman stories.
Yeah, so they've always had a tenuous relationship in most circumstances outside the Golden Age. And I always feel that like if Batman was in charge of the Justice League, Batman says, "Hey, Superman, go punch that satellite out of the sky," and Superman would do it, but Superman would take 1 second and be like, "Why, Bruce? Why?" If Nightwing says, "Hey, Superman, go punch that satellite out of the sky," Superman goes, "Sure thing," without questioning it. And the reason is because Nightwing, because of how Batman raised them, Nightwing is able to have personal relationships. Batman, if you look at Batman, even at the end of the day, doesn't really have friends. Right. He has allies. He has allies that will do stuff for him, but he's never going to sit around and drink a beer with them. But Nightwing would invite Clark to a Bloodhaven baseball game, and Clark would go. And that's the difference between the two. And that's why Nightwing, I think, is Batman's greatest success.
That's interesting. And I do agree that Dick Grayson, he can form those relationships. Yeah, I think even more than the other Robins that have existed. I think out of all of the not normal life that he kind of was put into, he's the most normal out of, I think, this whole Batman.
I agree with you because we saw what happened to Jason Todd. I think Tim Drake becomes exactly like Batman.
Right.
I think he's gonna be a copy of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And then Damian, I love Damian, but I think Damian's gonna become the next Ra's al Ghul. I really do.
So do you, we actually didn't get to talk about this on the podcast. Do you have a particular favorite Batman artist or writer that over the years has been like, oh, I really enjoyed their work and you keep coming back?
Well, the artist is easy. The artist is my favorite artist of all time, and it's Jim Lee. You cannot beat Jim Lee. Jim Lee's Hush is such a beautiful book. I have the absolute of that. I love it. In fact, it was one of my first things that I did when I got the job. I asked Jim to sign it for me.
Nice.
And it's so amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's a perk of the job. Day one of DC All Access, I get the tour of DC Comics, and then they were like, "Oh, and here, walk in here." And I walk into Jim Lee's office, and he's like, "Hi, Jason." I'm like, "Hi." It's surreal. So Jim Lee, 100%. I have the poster of the cover of Nightwing and Batman running at the camera that he did for Hush.
Yes.
I've had that for like 10 years, and I will never get rid of that poster. I think it's amazing. So he's easily the best Batman artist of all time. I think the writer, it's tough because I think there are a lot of great runs. I think Scott Snyder's great. I think Frank Miller's great.
Definitely.
I think Tom King's doing a hell of a job. Peter Tomasi did an amazing run in Batman and Robin.
Yes.
But if I have to pick who I think is like my favorite Batman writer of all time, I have to give it to Chuck Dixon. The guy who created Nightfall, the guy who led into No Man's Land, the man who wrote the solo Robin series, the solo Batgirl series, and the solo Nightwing series while writing Batman at the same time, and they were all good.
Right.
Yeah, I have to, I think if you look objectively back at Batman, I think you have to give it to Chuck Dixon.
No,
he created Bane.
Yes, exactly. I was just going to say that alone for me is good.
Yeah, but for me, a personal favorite, I think my second would have to be Grant Morrison because I think his whole run is so strong, and I love Batman Incorporated.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, Grant Morrison was on the podcast not too long ago.
He's such a nice man.
He is, and is talking to him about Batman, just his mind. Yeah. Just about how he sees Batman and the whole mythology is insane. I am a huge fan of his writing.
Yeah, his theory of how everything ever has happened.
Connects.
It's so great.
It's a long timeline. It is.
And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. It makes 100% sense.
Because at first you're like, I don't know. But then when he explains, you're like...
Any other Batman writer, you'd be like, yeah, you're full of it.
Right.
But Grant Morrison explains it to you, you're like, yes, sir, Grant Morrison.
I agree. No, that's awesome. I Yes, Chuck Dixon's one of my favorites as well. Is there, well, you said the Tom King series, because I'm reading that as well, especially for DC Rebirth. Is there a Batman book that you would recommend to our viewers that you're like, if it doesn't have to be now, it can be any run that you're like, if you're a Batman fan and you want to get into comics maybe, or even just something that you're like, you should read this if you're a Batman fan and you want to read comics.
Okay, I'll give you the book that doesn't get enough love, that I feel doesn't get enough love.
That's even better.
And that's Batman No Man's Land. Yep. Batman No Man's Land is the crossover that everyone has forgotten, but I think is the best Batman crossover of all time. It's like Mad Max mixed with post-apocalyptic mixed with Batman. It's so good, right? Yeah, our cameraman here is like, he's...
Mason, our producer, is like, yes, because he loves No Man's Land as well.
No Man's Land is so strong, and I was reading comic books at the time, and I remember when they announced No Man's Land, I saw the ads for it, I was like, there is no way this works. And then reading the first special written by Back to the Future writer Bob Gale, he wrote the first issue. You read that first issue and you're just like, this is the best thing I've ever read. And they just recently recollected all of it in like these 4 volumes that have like these caution lines and stuff like that. Right. It is amazing. If you've never read No Man's Land, you are missing out.
Yes. You get everything.
Every character's in it.
You do. You get every single Batman character in it, which is, I think, is one of the reasons why you have to read it. Which
it also introduces the best Batgirl ever, Cassandra Cain.
Yes.
Yep.
So pick up No Man's Land, which we will do episodes on No Man's Land. I have been promising Mason, and we are going to.
I want to come back. I want to come back for that.
Oh, okay.
I'll come back for No Man's Land.
He will come back 100%. For No Man's Land. So we will definitely plan that.
Yes.
Because I have been promising a No Man's Land thing for like 6 months.
Oh,
but it's like, there's so much to get into.
Yeah, you have to.
It's episodes. So you have to pick which episode you want to come back for.
Well,
and
yeah.
we will.
Well, because that's the other thing. It's the only Batman storyline and crossover that involved every Bat title for an entire year.
Yes.
So when you put it all together, I think it's like 120 issues.
Yes, it's something ridiculous. It's huge. Yes. But like you said, they're collecting them now, so you can actually attain them. You have to collect all 120 plus issues.
Yep. There's it's like 4 really cool volumes.
Yeah. Definitely. So that's awesome. So let's jump into a little bit about the comic series that you're doing.
Yes.
Which is
not as cool as No Man's Land.
No, I mean, it's pretty cool though. And it's all your own.
Yes.
It is your passion project.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Jupiter Jet, and then we'll dive into a little bit of the details.
Jupiter Jet is this 5-issue miniseries that I am co-writing with Ashley Victoria Robinson with art by Ben Matsuya. And it is a 16-year-old girl who finds a jetpack in her dead father's workshop, and she steals from the mob and gives to the poor to keep her neighborhood alive, because it's set in 1935. Yes. But it's all about her discovering that the world she knows is a lot larger than she thinks it is. She discovers robots, men with ray guns, and this giant man named Pluto who has glowing eyes. And it's what does he mean for her world? It's an all ages book, and it's a lot of fun. And it's all about melding this period piece of 1935 with like high concept science fiction. And it's this idea that my co-writer and I have had for a very, very long time. And of course, we just now put it on Kickstarter.
Yes.
And we have so many great rewards from Batman. Actual creators are actually part of the Kickstarter. So go check it out, jupiterjetcomic.com. Lots of cool rewards. And I'm a fan, just like you guys. You can see, like, I'm a fan. I love Bane and stuff like that. And now I decided to make my own comic books. So it's stepping to the other side of that line, and like getting your help to do that. And it's at a story. I waited until I had a story that I thought was exciting to tell. And Jupiter Jet and Cassandra Cain would have an amazing crossover.
Oh, I would love to see that. I didn't even think about that.
Jupiter Jet wouldn't like her.
No, but she would work it out. They would clash, but then they'd come together. And it would be epic. So tell us a little bit about where the name Jupiter Jet and kind of that idea came from.
Okay, so my co-writer, she was sitting around and she said, I've always wanted to write the story called Jupiter Jet. And we were just sitting at a diner one day, and I thought that name was so engaging that I immediately started spouting out the details of the world. I was like, oh, she's got a jetpack, she's in a world of blimps, she's got a little brother named Chuck. She can do this over here. And like suddenly we had a comic book. We had this idea. And it's such a good name. It's such an interesting name. And there's a lot behind the name, which is a story that we're going to tell in the comic book, in fact, itself. But it's Imagine Rocketeer meets Red Panda Adventures. If that's what you need to like put it in your head, that's the kind of story it is. It's passion, it's high flying adventure, and it's two kids really doing something that they shouldn't do.
Which we talked about in the podcast. It's kind of, you said she's 16.
She's 16.
And so we kind of talked about how 16-year-olds kind of want to go and do their own thing. And we randomly brought up Carrie Kelly from the Dark Knight Returns, which is kind of the same thing.
Carrie and Jupiter Jet would be friends. They would be friends.
Sandra Kane, no, would be a problem.
Not friends with Sandra Kane.
So can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for the main characters, for Jackie and for her brother Chuck, kind of how you molded those characters?
Well, it's interesting because Jackie is really based on Ashley Robinson, the co-creator. Like, if put her at 16 and make her a lot feistier, that's exactly who that character is. Although it's a more confident version of Ashley. Ashley doesn't like roller coasters and stuff like that. Jackie likes jetpacks, so there's a little bit of a difference there. It's Ashley if she was more adventurous, so she's kind of like just writing we're sort of like making a more adventurous younger version of her,
right?
And then Chuck is like I said, like Damien imagine Damian Wayne, except Damien is more into machines than swords, and then Pluto, our main villain, is very, very Dr. Octopus. So like we really pulled on archetypes from comic books and stuff like that, and they are original characters. Like they're not like we're not just writing Batman and just changing the name. We're not doing that. So it's very, very stuff like. But like a lot of people have asked that question, and if you've ever always like thought about writing your own comic book or writing your own thing, that's a great way to start. Like a great way to start is a great idea is to be like, well, what if Batman was an old man? What would that be like? And start that as the basis of your character. And you'll find like very quickly that you'll develop this whole new world just around that idea. And suddenly that character is not Batman anymore.
Right,
and he's yours.
Yeah. You're kind of pulling something that you're familiar with and that you love, and then you're making it your own.
Yes, and it makes it easier to write that way because most people out there know how Batman sounds. So if you put it in that veil, put that veil over it, you kind of like, oh, I can write this easy.
Yeah, definitely. I love the artwork. If you go on the Kickstarter website and you can see the art, it's amazing. And I love the period that you chose. It's 1935. Can you tell a little bit about why you chose that era?
It's because the 1935 is this anticipation. It's all this anticipation to we're going to leave the past world behind. Like we're on the dawn of World War II. We're very close, and there are dudes that wear these certain types of pants and tight boots that march around in Europe all the time, and they're not too cool, and they're on the horizon. So it's like our world is going to change. Everything's going to change, and those guys are in the background. Like we can feel those men everywhere, and it's a thought in that, especially, and also with the Depression, times are tough. So it's about the clash of these two worlds. That like times are really tough. We don't have enough food for the table. Nobody has any jobs. And we can feel that the world is going to change. We can really feel it. And it's a very interesting time, especially in history, is the 30s. Especially because like we went from barely being able to survive to suddenly we're in a war to everything's awesome in 20 years. And like that's a lot. That's a very interesting time, and that's why it was like that was the perfect time for this book. But also it was the idea of melding that idea of 1935 with this like very weird science fiction.
Interesting. So you said this is an all ages
book. This is for you can hand it to your little girls and your little boys, your little dogs even, and have them read comic books. Yeah, Jupiter Jet is perfect for anyone,
which is awesome. And I always recommend, especially it's hard because we talk about Batman on the show all the time, and he can be kind of dark. But then you have books like series like the Batman Adventures and things like that, where it's for everybody.
Yeah. Now, let's just say too, as well as Jupiter Jet, all ages, we're not playing down to adults or anything like that. Like the book just has a tone of fun. Like there's a fun idea in it. And it just, the subject matter, we just don't deal with anything serious. So it's the idea of like, pick a show that you would let your kid watch. Oh, I don't know, like Hercules, The Legendary Adventures, The Legendary Journeys. Like that show was for adults, but kids could easily watch it.
Right.
So.
Awesome. And talk about a little bit of the perks or the awards or rewards that you can get if you support on your Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, we have some cool perks. I reached out to some friends of mine and stuff like that. We have prints from Wonder Woman artist Nicholas Scott. We have a print by Nightwing writer Tim Seeley. And then also I wanted to... Yes! It looks great. It's so beautiful. It is Jupiter watching a ship fly into space. It's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it is... we also have some awards that I wanted to like really feature to a fan becoming a creator. So we have script reviews from comic book professionals like Mark Andreyko, who wrote Batwoman. He will give you notes on your script. That is amazing.
It's crazy.
We had Cullen Bunn, the writer of Uncanny X-Men. His perk went away immediately.
Oh, wow.
But we'll also have like artist reviews like Mitch Garrett's, who recently drew Batman 14 and 15. Like he will look at your artwork and give you notes. And these are guys that are working in the comic book industry, giving you notes.
They are giving you the best advice possible.
Yes. Yeah. And we have a couple other. Joshua Hale Fialkoff is on there. And then... I won't say his name, but we will have a script review coming up from a man who worked on Gotham Academy. He's going to be doing a script review as well.
That is so cool. So where can people go and go to the Kickstarter, either support, read more about the comic, and where can people go to support? Yeah. JupiterJetComic.com, or you can go to Kickstarter, just type in Jupiter Jet. We have all kinds of artwork up there. We have pages 2 and 3 on there. Issue 1 is completely done. Yes. Issue 1 is completed. The Kickstarter was all to fund the production of issues 2, 3, 4, and 5, which will be cool. So very soon, think about it like this allows you to pre-order the book. This book will be in comic stores later down the line. Awesome.
But if you want a copy just by yourself that's signed and get some cool prints on the side, this is the way to do it.
Right? That's the best way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I'm definitely a supporter of creator-owned comics because I know people want to break into the industry, and even doing a comic book on your own and kind of getting that support and raising the money and everything, it's difficult. It's a lot of work.
It's difficult, but that's how all the big names now have done it. Like you have to make your own book, and that's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal.
Definitely. Well, I first want to say congratulations.
Thank you
for doing this, and from what I've seen and what you've talked about, I'm very excited to read it. I am.
And the Cassandra Cain crossover coming soon.
Yes, exactly. Please, tell him that that's what you want to see later. We got to see that. And yes, so thank you so much for coming on and talking about Jupiter Jet.
Thank you for having me.
I will have all of his links and where you can go to see the comic and the Kickstarter and everything. But where can people find you? You
can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Jawin. That's Jawiin. It's all for 2 letters of my 3 names, Jason William Inman. So Jawin, very simple.
Boom.
And then Geek History Lesson on iTunes and SoundCloud. It's my podcast where we teach you about characters. We have done Batman. We have done an Alfred episode, a Nightwing episode, a Tim Drake episode. I'm trying to think of some other Batman characters we've done. We did a Harley Quinn. Joker is coming soon. So very Batman-y and other characters like that. And then of course the DC All Access every weekday on the DC Entertainment Channel.
Awesome. And I do want to come on the Geek History Lesson somehow.
We got to do a crossover.
Some way we're going to do crossover. So yes, well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about Nightwing and Bane with me, which you have no idea.
Oh, Bane.
I'm so excited. And thank you so much for talking about your comic book series, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
It's already just doing so wonderful.
Hop on the popular bandwagon, kids. And like Bane, like us.
Yes, do it. So thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, and look at all the links below, and be sure to check out Jupiter Jet. It's really great, and support everyone in this industry, not just the main DC and all the big ones, but everyone that is out doing their own writing, their own art. Please support the arts in any way possible. And thank you for watching this episode, and I hope to see you guys next time. And remember, it's all about peace, love, and Batman.